Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's my privilege to be in your presence. The title of today's presentation is When You Suffer, Do It With On. When you suffer, do it with on. First, let me begin by saying, before we talk about the suffering end of it, I like to have a balanced view. You're going to have a lot of joy in your life. You're going to have a lot of joy with your family, your friends, over your lifetime, your children, nieces and nephews, aunts and uncles, grandparents. There's a lot of joy in store for you. There really is. And a lot of enjoyment. The sunrise, the sunset, getting together with family, appreciating the moments together, seeing each other over the holidays, traveling together, having meals together. So many. And not only are you going to have a lot of joy, you're going to have wonderful memories of these enjoyments and the joy of. It's a beautiful thing. You have so much enjoyment and joy you're going to have with friends, family, delicious meals, vacations. And you're also going to enjoy your achievements in life and the achievements of your loved ones. Things you're going to see the advances. You're going to watch yourself grow as a human being. That's a great delight. And you're going to see yourself grow spiritually as you get closer to God, if you believe in God, as I do, or you just see yourself grow in compassion and wisdom. What a delight that's going to be for you as you see yourself grow in love, the power to love, and the joy of giving love, and the joy of receiving love. You're going to have a lot of this, a lot of it. It's, in fact, for every difficulty you have, there's going to be 1,000 wonderful things in your life. But now, okay, that being said, that's reality. That being said, if you have 1,000 good things in your life, if you count them, this finger, this finger, this finger, this finger, this eye, my children are in good health, this child's in good health, my spouse is in good health, so my relationships are good, strong. You go on 1,000 of them, over 1,000. But one thing happens, one bad thing, you lose your job, your house, go through a divorce, whatever it is. All that exists for you is going to be that one bad thing. And you have all these wonderful things go on. You're going to say, so God forbid you lose your house. As we had happen, houses went upside down. People couldn't keep their mortgage payments. They lost all. So you say, oh, I see the nature of reality. They said, look through our life through this little microscope. Lost my love. This is the most horrible thing, and it consumed in that loss. And listen, losing your house is rough. Rough. Not just a house, it's a home. It's rough. But they're not saying, but that's not what's causing the stress. What's causing the stress is what they're not seeing. I have this finger, this finger, this finger, that finger. My child has this finger, that finger, that finger, everything. In good health, but my marriage is good. My primary relationship is good. My job is great. Whatever. Forget all that. So the thing is to be able to remember that while we're going through that one bad thing. Again, you're going to have all these joys, and you will totally forget them when that one bad thing happens. Totally. You won't even be able to think of it. Isn't that true? You don't even think of it. All you can think is, I lost my job, or split up with my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my marriage, or whatever. That's all that's going to be on your mind. Now, suffering, as the title of today is, when you suffer, suffer with honor. So the suffering is inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. Why do I say it's inevitable? Well, you've already seen it in your life. You've suffered a lot. Let's say you enjoyed your house. Great source of enjoyment. And it burns down. There's a tornado, or it gets destroyed. You lost it. Now you're suffering. What gave you enjoyment is now causing you pain. You had a job, was paying you really well. The economy took a turn for the worse. That industry had to close down. You're not having a job. Well, let's say you worked for Kodak, and they used to make the film, the regular film, and then digital came up, and I hardly see any for that kind of film around. So you had a great job. You were making 150,000 a year with tremendous benefits, and now that whole part of your industry is gone. Just for example. So the thing that gave you security and enjoyment and pride, it's gone out. Now it's a source of misery. Most of your sufferings will be related to losing something that you enjoyed having. You can also lose things that you took for granted, like your health. God forbid you have a heart attack or cancer, or you start, or you lose a leg, you have it amputated, or you have an accident and you lose it. Things that we even took for granted, it gave you enjoyment, it was part of your life. Now it's the loss is now a source of suffering. The suffering. So suffering could be money, illness, could be loss of a loved one, loss of your dignity, loss of your self-esteem because of whatever. If your self-esteem is tied to your looks and something happens, you lose your looks, or you have a job, and your self-esteem as a man is tied to their money, and the self-esteem takes it. You don't want to have your self-esteem tied to those things. You want to tie it only to your honor. That's another story. So this suffering is this. So I'm to tell you, you're going to suffer in life. I've already told you you're going to have a lot of joy and enjoyment. The other side is you're going to suffer. And you're going to suffer badly. Really badly. If we're lucky at the end, we'll have a quick death. Boom. But how many people have these long, protracted deaths? Wasting away long, suffering things. God forbid it happens to any of you. We're going to suffer. We have to understand that. This is not to depress us, but this is the life. So I'm here to tell you how to suffer. There's a way to suffer and a way not to suffer. You want to suffer with honor. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a case history. This one individual, he loved his wife dearly. His wife was crazy about it. But they just took a trip together. And the whole time she was complaining, you do this, you do that. She'd yell at him for spending too much money, went out for a meal or whatever. She yells at him, you spent all that money? She's yelling at him, giving him a hard time. And it's not just once or twice, but does it 5 or 6 times a day. And after a while, she's how the person he loved and that loves him, he can't stand her. The person he loves more than anybody in the world for that time on that trip, they're spending a lot of money to go to Hawaii, let's say. He can't stand the woman. Or she can't stand him. He's keeping leaving a mess. He's not cleaning up after himself. How many times have I told you, don't keep leaving your socks on the floor, and then another thing, but not just once or twice, but all day long. So after a while, he can't stand her. Getting really negative thoughts. She's just like to get rid of this person, or how to marry this person. And she's having the same thing. What a slob. I want to be around this guy. These are people who dearly love each other, would die for each other, do anything for each other. But now, for this moment, they can't stand each other. So what happened with him, because he's a disciple of Arnold, this man. So the thoughts that pop into your mind don't define who you are. He didn't choose to dislike her. He didn't choose to resent her. He was getting some pretty nasty thoughts about her. Very nasty thoughts. But he didn't choose them. So I said to him, you didn't choose those thoughts. You're not responsible for that thought. You're not responsible for that really negative, terrible thought. It's based on your family upbringing, your genetics, societal norms. The thoughts that pop into your mind do not define who you are. You're more a reflection of the thought you choose to have. So one of the ways of honor is to wish people well. We're going to go over the way of honor, which involves the 4 principles of honor, also mainly called the 4 commandments of honor, the 4 self-commandments of honor. One of them is I wish you well. So I said, whenever you get that thought about her, you go, I wish you well. You balance it with a thought, I wish you well. Now, when you go, he's having these really resentments. He goes, I wish you well. I said, don't expect that negative feeling to go away. It's not. But you're not feeding it, balancing it, I wish you well, I wish you well. Comes again, that's not the first time. I can't say it. She keeps doing it. I can't stop her from doing it. I wish you well. Now, when you always balance, I said the thought will come back less often. Don't expect it to go away. And so now that is suffering with honor. He never said anything bad to her. One, no bad tones of voice, nothing. I'm going to wish you well. But this man, a great human being, was suffering because he lost his beloved in life. He had no connection to the way he lost her during that time that he couldn't stand her. He lost her. I mean, she was still his wife, but he lost her because he didn't feel that love. He didn't feel the connection. So you could say at an emotional level, he lost her. But he never said, why don't you just shut the hell up? Or, you're just being a bitch. He never said anything like that. Now, if you do say that, shut the hell up, you might feel better momentarily. You might. But she might retaliate and it might just escalate. Or if you can overpower, maybe she'll shut up and it's happening. He did say to her a number of times, please stop yelling at me. I feel humiliated when you do that. I really appreciate it. And she wouldn't stop. She'd yell, keep criticizing little things here. And every little thing was a big deal. So he stayed suffering. Lost his wife for that time that he was resenting her. But he never let the negative thoughts sit. He always balanced with, I wish you well. And he would even say, I love you. And he would even go, one of the commandments of honor is, I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. We say, well, I've co-created this. I know I spent too much money. I should pick my socks up. I should put my pajamas away. I'm co-creating it. Can't just blame her. And then one of the commandments of honor is, I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardships. He said, I know this is going to make me stronger, maybe wiser, more compassionate. What's going to come of this, even though it's terrible right now. And the other one he uses, for whatever one of the commandments of honor is, God, your wish is my only wish. So God, how do you want me to deal with it? I'll deal with it. So it's clear. Now keep in mind, I want to make this really clear. If he would have said, just shut the hell up, will you, bitch? Sick of you. He might have felt better. Really? They're off his chest. It's not honorable. Or because there's something really nasty about her habits and, terrible things about her. Put it down. She would have been thinking about it later, whatever. He didn't do that. So following the path of honor prolonged his misery. So it wasn't honor was not a way out of the misery. It actually, he didn't get it off his chest. He didn't get it off his chest, but he kept it going, never said one bad thing to her. It's honorable. Now, the path of honor often will reduce your stress. It will. So many ways. I gave a presentation called the 16 Psychological Benefits of Honor. But there are times when it's not in terms of making you feel better momentarily. Being dishonorable will make you feel better momentarily. Well, just like man's married to a woman, he's having a lot of problems with her. Finds another woman has an affair with her. He feels great. He goes, what the heck? I'm having sex with her. I can tolerate my wife. There's no honor in that. But it feels better for the moment till everything starts escalating and terrible things come of that. When the woman turns to him, or he gets venereal disease, or his wife finds out, or his guilt, whatever. But look, his wife's been a bitch to him. She's not even having sex with him for about a month, so he's having sex with another woman. He feels better. That's not honorable. There's no honor in that. He's betrayed his wife, betrayed his own honor. So I want you to know, feeling better and the way of honor that I'm teaching you about doesn't always make you feel better, but we follow honor as an end in itself. Honor before pride, honor before pleasure, honor before money, honor before anger, honor before everything. The path of honor. So eventually he did say to her, when you yelled at me at this one thing, I felt really humiliated. If you could find it in your heart to apologize, I'd be grateful. He figured if he could just get that one thing, he'd feel better. And she says, I'm sorry. It wasn't heartfelt, but he gave it. He knew how prideful and stubborn she was. So if she wanted that, thank you for that apology. And he sincerely felt better. He had to go that way. It all lifted and he had his wife back because his resentment was gone. Never allowed a negative thought to go by in his mind without balancing it with a loving thought. Never. Never yelled at her. Never used a bad tone towards her. That's the way of honor. That's power. Now, I'm telling you about it because I don't want to give you the idea that when you follow this path that you're always going to feel better. It reduces your stress. And sometimes doing that affair would reduce a person's stress too. Or yelling at her, or hell, some people will hit their wife or hit their significant other. They feel better. I think they got it out. So the 4 commandments of honor. So whatever people, I've had over 1,000 people take the pledge to be disciples of honor. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gained from hardship. And then one of two, either I seek always to serve my highest values, or God, your wish is my only wish. Having that is great, but then people have to take a commitment to do it for life. If you don't repeat these all your life, you're going to lose. Now people raise their right hand, we have them take the pledge. They go, as a disciple of honor, I pledge myself for all the days of my life to the 4 commandments of honor, and I'll teach them to those I love. I'll repeat them every morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'll listen to myself recite them. Boom. People, when they do that, feel good. They feel more hope. They feel more meaning. Instantly. Then there's a bridge from honor to reality. So after they do the 4 commandments, they go, what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So he was saying, and every time he was going into this, what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So all his words, his actions, might apologize, or he might make extra effort to clean up after himself, whatever it was, he would do it because he felt that was the most honorable thing to do. The bridge from honor to reality. I call it the bridge. It's a bridge from honor to reality. Now, one good thing about the way of honor is you create good karma. You don't add to bad karma. If you had an affair to deal with it to make him feel better, it would have created bad karma. If he would have yelled at her or hit her, which is terrible, he would have created bad karma. This way, you do reduce the bad consequences through this path. Now, the other part is, and if he'd done any of those things, it would have been more of a barrier between him and the person he most loved, his wife. This way, they came back together pretty quickly compared to how they escalated these dishonorable behaviors. So when you suffer, do it with honor. Whether it feels good to be honorable or not. But it will reduce your stress. You will have more self-esteem with this path, more self-respect, more self-confidence with this approach. It's been my pleasure, my privilege to present to you this very important information. When you suffer, do it with honor. Thank you.